Alright, it's Horizon time. So, hey, that's absolutely amazing. So let's keep this hype going for this Horizon Zero Dawn speedrun. My name is Elkjaer, but please just call me Elk, and I'm gonna be taking you through this journey. So this run will be New Game Plus on Ultra Hard difficulty, which is the hardest difficulty in the game. And I'll explain a bit more about that once we are into the run. So, without further ado, let's just get into it. The New Game Plus, Ultra Hard. And time will start as soon as I skip the first cutscene, so I'll give you a 3-second countdown before we go. Now, if you've played Horizon Zero Dawn before, you probably remember that there's a childhood section where you play as Kid Aloy, or the kid version of Aloy. Well, the developers were kind enough to make it so in New Game Plus it is skipped automatically, so we start as adult Aloy. So that's quite convenient, because the childhood section is basically what's it called, auto-scroller / tutorial. So New Game Plus completely skips that, and it's really annoying for resets, so that's awesome. Anyway, let's get started here. So 3, 2, 1, go! Alright, so I will also just say I am solo commentating this run, so hopefully I can keep you entertained throughout this entire thing. And yeah, as you can probably tell already, we are rolling. That is because rolling is the fastest form of movement in this game. It saves about 2 seconds for every roughly 150 feet you travel in the game. So, you know, in order to go fast, we gotta roll. Which, you know, I have seen a certain emote in chat that's probably quite fitting for these rolls right here. So let's see some of those in chat. And right there we finish our dialogue with Rust, and then we fast travel to the main gate here. So what's gonna happen here after we come to the main gate? Well, we are gonna restart from save here. Because it's New Game Plus, you're supposed to normally get fire arrows and a tripcaster, but New Game Plus, we already have that. So going to the main gate and then restarting from save is going to put us right next to Rust, so we can go straight into the next thing here. Which is going to leave us to our first fight, which is going to be with the Sawtooth. The first fight coming up is relatively simple. I'm going to be using this weapon here, known as the Storm Slinger, and I'll be going over my weapons a bit later in the run, when there's some more time to do so. But essentially, this weapon is a weapon where I just want to charge it up as much as possible, because it does a lot of damage. But if I charge it too much, I will die. So first, gonna roll forward here, hit him once to get his attention, and then hopefully just see him running straight towards me. And he flew a couple meters back. That has happened a couple of times before. I guess he wants to show off his jump skills for GDQ. But there you go, he's dead. So the thing with the Storm Slinger, just to end that conversation, it's when you play on Ultra Hard, the Storm Slinger is actually so powerful that it completely, what's it called? The recoil damage is so strong that it will kill you if you overcharge it. So you gotta keep a fine balance. The more you charge it, the more damage you do, but if you overcharge it, you're dead. So it's not a weapon we use a lot, but for certain machines, it's quite effective. So right here, after we complete the Sawtooth, we have to talk to Rust. Sadly, this is the last time we'll see Rust in this run. And I can just quickly explain, since this next part of the quest here is just basically story setup. I won't be going over too much of the story of this game, because there's a lot of it, and I only have 2 hours. So you really should play this if you want to know the story. But I'll try to explain some details along the way. So since we are just setting up the main story here, going through some dialogues here in this village here, I can quickly explain, in New Game Plus, we have all our stuff from a previous playthrough, and since, you know, it's speedrunning, we have a save file that we use that is set up perfectly for New Game Plus speedruns, with all our weapons being upgraded to basically max, and we have all the resources we need. So it's gonna be a bit atypical to a normal playthrough of this game. But as you can see or tell by the Sawtooth kill, you're gonna see a lot of fast-paced combat, because, well, even though it's the hardest difficulty, we are quite overpowered. And sadly, because I would say I have, at this point, quite a lot of experience with this game, you know, I am able to basically make Ultra Hard look quite easy. Or hopefully, that's hopefully the point of this run. So another thing is the difficulty, which I already explained is Ultra Hard. It's the hardest difficulty. It has some unique things to it, other than simply being harder. All your weapons are nerfed, but again, it's New Game Plus, so it doesn't matter too much. And can't skip cutscenes right now. Oops. But yeah, all your weapons are nerfed. All machines are more aggressive, meaning they attack you sooner and they get alerted a lot easier, which actually kind of plays in nicely to like speedruns and stuff, in a way. And also, let me see if I remember everything here. Also on Ultra Hard, there's no aim assist. And I am playing this on a console with a controller, so that does matter. I'm not playing on the PC version, in case you're wondering. But, you know, if a game is well made enough, you can easily play it with a controller, even without aim assist. Or hopefully I can prove to you... can't speak right now. Hopefully I can prove that to you right now. There's some other things to Ultra Hard, but they're not too important for this speedrun right here. So you just saw me kill 2 Grazers there with our Blastling, and then we're gonna move on to the rest of the proving here. So basically just going through the early game here. Again, don't have too much time to go into the story. But we're about to come up to our first big skip of the run, which is the proving skip, which essentially is gonna take a path that is very, how do you want to call it, a zigzag path. And we're just gonna, you know, make it a bit more straight, using some out-of-bounds movement.
Right there.
So coming down the zip line here, we got a bit more climbing, and then we got the skip coming up, and then right after we do the skip, we are immediately thrown into the proving fight, where hopefully I can nail all my shots on the enemies, and I'll try my best to explain everything I do in the fight. It is a bit detailed, and everything is basically pre-planned as to what I want to do in the fight. So pay attention here. So first, I'm gonna run off this edge and land down here. Then I'm gonna climb up here. I'm already out of bounds, by the way, and now I get back in bounds, so we just caught a big corner off. And then we're gonna do the second part of the skip here, where we take a left turn, hit an invisible trigger right there. That is important to make the fight up here. Then we're gonna go over this mountain. Gonna jump around here, get some height, so we can jump across, and then jump up here, and we hit the trigger that starts the fight. Alright, first wave of the fight here, we're just gonna kill these guys from left to right. A bit shaky aim there. It's the start of the run, so that's fine.
Too many of them.
And then the second wave is a bit more complicated. So here, there are 4 enemies. I want to kill 2 fast first here. Oh, I missed a shot, so this might not work. It still worked. So you kill 2 there, and then they stop running. The other 2 that are left when you jump. Then I want to shoot this guy, because he always peeks over the rock. Finish off the 2 guys on the right. Get the guy in the back. Then I'm gonna take some proxy bombs and plant them right here, because a big guy is gonna spawn right on the top of it. For the final wave, I didn't kill him, so have to finish him off there. Still managed to get this guy to jump down. I missed the headshot. Have to dodge his shot. There we go. Bit shaky proving, but we got it. An important thing to note in that fight right there. The fight ends when you loot the leader, the guy with the black hoodie that jumped down. What I actually did in the fight, even though I messed it up with the big guy, was that I went to the far left there to go behind a rock. That tricks his AI into jumping down. Well, 9 out of 10 times. He doesn't most of the time. So going behind that rock made him jump down, and since I have to loot him, you know, it just makes it sure that he's as close to me as possible once the fight is over.
With the rest?
Now we're done with the proving here. Right here we can just normally run, because we're supposed to follow Tursa here. And and in this game, when the game tells you to follow someone, you can just walk ahead and wait for them. So right here we just, you know, just quickly have to wait for her here. So if you want to squeeze in a quick donation here before we move on.
Yeah, I think I've got one that works. Let's take a $25 donation from SlowCuber17. Glad to see Horizon Zero Dawn at GDQ and being run by my favorite Swede of all people. May Bob Ross bless your run, and may you get both Blaze Skip inputs. Good luck on the run, Elk.
You said the tribe is
Thank you so much, SlowCuber, a runner of the game. And you're gonna notice people are gonna call me Swedish. It's a bit of a meme we got going in my community, where because I'm Danish, people think it's fun to call me Swedish. Because, you know, I don't know, but if you know this, but, you know, it's not nice to call a Danish person Swedish. So, yeah. Right here again, we're waiting for Tursa here. And like I said, our weapons are fully upgraded. I would like to go into full details about all my weapons, but I can't really do that in a marathon run. But if you're interested in knowing exactly how all my weapons are set up with modifications and all that, I do have a video going over all the nerdy details if you want on my own personal channel. So you can always check that out if you're interested in knowing it. Also got tutorials and stuff on how you can set up these weapons yourself, should you be interested in running the game. And if you're a PC runner, you can always just download a save file, cause PC runners always have it easier. So coming up here is the Corruptor fight, which we are gonna look very easy once again here. So first we're just gonna slide down, do a roll once we're halfway down, just to, you know, get down a little quicker. And the roll halfway through breaks our fall into two, so we don't take nearly as enough damage to die. So the Corruptor fight here normally is the first fight in the game most people get stuck on, because, you know, it's hard when you don't know what you're doing on the first playthrough. But what we are gonna do here is I'm gonna switch to the ice cannon here. I'm gonna jump on these logs, get up here. Oh, almost messed it up. Can I make it in time? And then I'm gonna listen. There we go. And then I can immediately shoot him there. So if you paid attention to the sound there, you'll notice that I shot as soon as the gate broke open. So the Corruptor is normally invincible to damage before he jumps into the actual fighting area. But it turns out when the gate breaks, you have a small window where you can actually do damage. And an ice cannon shot to the weak point there on top of his head is just enough to kill him. So therefore, if we time our shots correctly as soon as we hear the gate break open, we can just pop him on one shot. And yeah, that's a GG for that fight. So, makes it look really easy compared to, you know, what you would otherwise see. Right here I'm getting on my mount, and you notice there the gate is just magically gonna break open. Normally you're supposed to go and override a mount for story reasons, so Aloy learns how to override machines. But we already have the skill point that allows you to just whistle for a mount no matter where you are. And because of that, as soon as I whistle for one and get on it, the gate breaks open, because then the game is like, oh, you already overridden one. Here you go. So that basically finished off the early game of the run, which is the Embrace section, with the first 3 quests takes place that we already completed. And now we are allowed to basically roam half of the open world. Still have one more quest to go before we can go wherever we want. But first we are gonna set something up along the way. So in this game, unlike GTA games, for example, I like to use GTA as an example, because in GTA you have to, if you start a mission, you have to finish the mission before you're allowed to move on. In Horizon, you can do part of a quest, and then, you know, come back later if you want. But that's what we're going to do right here for routing purposes. So we are going to do the first part of the War Chief's trial, because it's conveniently on the way we need to go anyway, but we're not gonna do the rest of War Chief's trial quest until a bit further in the run, when we are gonna be heading north. So you're gonna see a little bit of a trick here. So I'm gonna lead my mount right here as I get off, jump up here, go into the area where you're supposed to investigate what happened in this battlefield. Gonna investigate the Corruptor and the Watcher, and then I'm gonna quickly get back on my mount here. Listen again. As soon as you hear him yell "you" there, you can then restart from save, and then after the loading screen you'll have your mount inside this area where you're normally not supposed to have a mount. So you can see right here, now I have a mount, and that means I can get off and talk to this guy and immediately be on my way as soon as this conversation is over. Because normally you have to go outside and whistle for your mount, but that little trick there makes it so we are on our mount immediately and all the way, already on the way to, you know, the next part of the run. So that set up the War Chief's trial, but again, we'll come back to that later after we have completed some other stuff. So now we're gonna head to Mother's Crown here, where we are told that we have to clear 2 corrupted zones in order to pass into the Carja territory. And you're gonna see a thing here that is sadly a big part of Horizon runs. So if you have a bit of a faint heart, you probably should look away, because we are gonna abuse our mount a little bit here. So you're gonna see me here as soon as I activate the village here, or the fast travel for the village, I'm gonna hit my mount with a bomb to make him aggressive towards me, which basically means he's no longer my mount. And then I'll fast travel inside the settlement, because it's faster than walking in. Talk to Maria here, who again tells us about the corrupted zones. And then we're gonna lead the village here from the other side. So if you're wondering, why did you hit your own mount there to make him aggressive? That is so I can call a new mount on the other side. Because if you don't do that, you are guaranteed to have the worst mount spawn right here. But by going out here, turning your camera, you have a lot higher chance of getting a good mount spawn. We still got a somewhat bad one, but it's fine. But if you don't, hit your mount, the mount will try to make it all the way around the village and you have to wait for it. And that's just slow. So we gotta abuse him a little bit to, go fast. So anyway, here, first corrupted zone. This one is pretty simple. I'm gonna use sticky bombs here. Place one on each of these grazers. This corrupted zone can be a bit tricky because their spawns are random. So you kind of want to spot wherever all the machines are when you get to it. And then plan out your route for how you're gonna go about killing them. And sometimes they can be so far spread out that it can become a big mess. And one sticky bomb on those corrupted grazers is enough to kill them. But the next corrupted zone is a bit more tricky, because we're going to be dealing with 3 watchers and 2 scrappers. And again, spawns are random in corrupted zones, so we can't really plan our fights exactly as we want them each time. So you kind of have to basically do a little quick route on the fly. So right here we are riding through a lot of machines. Usually they're not really a threat. There are certain parts of the run where machine encounters in the wild can be a threat. But coming over the hill here, we're gonna see the second corrupted zone, so we're gonna, quickly scout where all the machines are. So we see 2 watchers straight ahead, and both the scrappers are in the back, so we're gonna use bombs first.
Here they come.
On the watchers. Here we get 2 for 1. Nope, I missed one. Use triple shot to take out these guys. Then turn around. He's gonna blind me, but I can still somewhat see where that guy is. And that kills both of them. Sadly, I didn't get the 2 for 1, because otherwise I wouldn't have to have turned around. And then get back on a mount and be on our way already again. And then here's another little mount trick to do. This trick only works on PS4, but you want to basically hug this cliffed wall here as you go down with your mount. That triggers the checkpoint for that bandit camp that's just to the right here. And when you just manage to clip it from the side, the checkpoint, and you restart from save, you'll spawn on top of the cliff where the bandit camp entrance is, and you will have your mount after the fast travel. For some reason that trick doesn't work on PC. It's one of the few PC differences, or console PC differences. Right here I'm setting up my weapons again. We got one more fight before we cross the border. So this one is a pretty cool fight if it goes well. So we have a scrapper here again. We're gonna triple shot that to the neck because there's no armor. Then 2 bombs on the 2 watchers. Switch to the Stormslinger and finish up the Corruptor before you even know what hit him. And then whistle for a mount so he's close to us as soon as the fight is over. And that's how you clean up the border here. And already like that, we now have the full map unlocked, because we're now allowed to pass through to the Elkjaer territory. And with that, we have our first little long ride in the run where we have to go to, we are on our way to Meridian City here. And this will be a perfect time for some donations. And please tell me there's a lot of people donating for KZFru's run, because I think we all want to see that.
We have a lot of love out here for KZFru as well. Let's see. I think I've got one here that hits a little bit of everything. Odinson92 sends in $50. I need that train ticket to get me a small neck plush. If that also gets us GTA 3, then that's just icing on the cake.
Yeah, right here we have a Stormbird that might attack us, but as long as we go at full speed, the odds of that should be small, but it is a marathon, so I'm sure the odds are way higher. Let's just listen. That was very close, but we're good. Now we have another 2 minutes until we get to Meridian, so if you want to keep just firing off some donations, and also after we're done in Meridian, you can close the incentive for whether we save or kill Olin, because that's actually coming up quite soon.
Sounds good. Just let us know. Speaking of the train, I got a pretty big ticket here from Ryu for $2,500.
Goodness.
So excited for the Horizon Zero Dawn speedrun. One of the best games of all time, in my humble opinion. Aloy is the awesome sauce, especially in her compassion when she saves Olin.
You can do probably 3 or 4 more donations before we get there. It's a long ride, probably the longest in the run.
Okay, I got you here. Let's take a $50 donation from Linkigi. Bonus game, bonus game, bonus game. And just a quick update on that, I am seeing us at $66,500. We got about $23,500 left to get that one closed out. Onyx of Octavia sent in $25. Horizon Zero Dawn is one of my absolute favorite games. Aloy is the snarky queen of my heart. So pumped for this run. Do my girl right and blaze through the game.
Will do. Feel free to do one more, and then I'll start up again.
All right, let's take a $25 donation from Dragon King Me. Hey Elk, thanks for everything you do to make this game so accessible and the community so welcoming. Hope the run goes great and that Zero Dawn Skip treats you kindly.
Thank you so much. Right here before Meridian, we have the DLC side quest, which if you watched SGDQ last year, I did the DLC run. We get slowed down here because the game really wants you to, you know, talk to that guy and start the DLC, even though it's not even necessary. But, oh well. So coming up to Meridian here, we have to go in and find out where Olin is, for story reasons. And it turns out he's not here, he's actually in a place called the excavation site, which is where we'll decide his fate right after this.
Sorry for the wait, but all goods entering the city are subject to search.
And I guess I can quickly explain here. So in this run, we are basically only going through the main quest. We did the 2 corrupted zones, but they are excuse me, needed for the
night before the proving.
for the main
Aaron
quest.
said he'd introduce me to his sister
But-
if I visited Meridian. Said she
Right here, I'm just gonna fast travel in again because it's faster than walking the rest of the bridge, and go through more dialogue. So basically the main quest is split into 3 parts, which is there's the part about Aloy learning the past, the one about Aaron's sister, what happened to her, and then the part where you help the Nora. And once all 3 of those parts are complete, you can then unlock the very last quest of the game. So that's kind of the goal here. And currently there's no way to skip any of it, so you're gonna see the entire main quest as we play through it here.
What did he mean about Ursa's murder?
Not now. Here we
So
are.
quickly here, we're gonna do some movement here. We need to scan that, examine it, head upstairs, jump over the railing because it's faster, and then we go up again. So yeah, a little bit of slow part in the run after you had that quick early game here. You get this little break on Meridian, but as an experienced speedrunner, I can tell you even in the slow parts, you can easily lose a lot of time. So,
I never took him for a
but then we have basically the gauntlet coming up after this, which are 3 fights, or technically 4 fights, I guess. Kind of back to back. That usually always decides the fate of runs, which are the excavation side fight, ambush, and then Maker's End.
There's your
How did...
Because a lot of things can go differently in those fights, and it's not always the same way it goes. So you saw me right there, I opened the map twice. It might look like a mistake, but it's actually not a mistake. Because when you open the map the first time after a long travel and you have discovered a lot of new things, the game really likes to do this cinematic overview of everything you discovered. But that's obviously slow, so if you just open the map twice, it skips that entire animation. So right here, I'm gonna set up my weapons for the excavation side fight. And now I have to close the bit for whether we save or kill Olin, because that is right after the fight. So, how did that turn out?
All right, let me just refresh the page to make sure I've got the latest numbers here. It is looking like, by a margin of $1,400, the viewers have decided to save Olin.
Cool, that is the fastest option. It's 2 seconds faster. So you guys picked the speedy option. Even though I feel like in most games it's always faster to go for the kill. But not the case in Horizon, unless you're playing 100%, funny enough. Because if you save Olin, there's a side quest in 100% where you have to save his family, and if he's alive, you have to talk to him. So in 100% you kill him, but every other category, you know, he gets to live.
Please help me.
So excavation site fight here is one of my, or probably one of my favorite fights in the entire run, yeah. Because it's got a lot to it. We're gonna see 2 corruptors and a ton of Eclipse soldiers basically scattered out throughout like a large arena. Some short range shots, long range shots, bomb throws, and 2 corruptor kills with freeze to you know, increase how much damage we do. Because if the machine is frozen, you do more damage to them. But first, I'm quickly gonna go up here, touch this grass, which activates the campfire I'm gonna use after the fight to fast roll, and then turn around and hit into the fight here. So this fight can be a little complicated, and we are gonna pay attention to what the corruptors do here. If they both stand still and nod their head, that is the worst thing that can happen. So let's hope that doesn't happen. And that exactly happened. So that's bad RNG. So we have to kill these 2 first. Have to kill this guy and then try to keep them separated until I've killed one of them. The other guy's attacking me anytime. No, he's a bit of a pacifist, so we're good. Try to stay alive here because everything is shooting at us at the moment, so we gotta kill things before they do. Corruptors are down. Finish up the 3 archers. There's a guy in front of me, so let me just bomb him. And this guy is over here, and that's the fight done. And that probably looked really easy, but it is the fight I practiced the absolute most in this run.
I'm not. What are they? What do I do when they?
Right here, we decide the fate of Owen.
And what? Where my phone?
And I'll let the cutscene play, because, you know, you guys kindly donated for it.
You're sparing me?
And if you paid attention at the end of the fight, you heard me whistle. Because I want my mount to spawn as soon as, or be next to me as soon as the fight is over. Because as soon as this is over,
go to the place where your family is.
You can see the mount in the background there, so I have to go backwards.
We'll make their lives the first ones you save.
I didn't earn this mercy.
Because when you are on a mount and you fast roll to a place where the mount is allowed to be, you'll have the mount after the fast roll. And remember, I activated a campfire before the fight. So get on him here, open the map twice again, and then fast roll to the campfire, and you'll see I have the mount after the fast roll. But there you go, Olin is saved, but we're not gonna save his family, because, you know, it's not part of the run. I'm quickly restarting from save here. This is to manipulate the fight after, or the fight coming up, because Aaron's spawn here is normally random, where he's gonna spawn, how close he's gonna be to the fight. But if you restart from save, he's always going to be in the fight here. So again, I load a triple shot into my striker bow here. A triple shot basically means I shoot 3 arrows at once. So you might hear me say triple shot or double shot throughout this run. So the triple shot is for these lanthorns here. Gonna shoot him in the butt. He's down. Bomb this guy. And where's the last guy? He's fighting Aaron. Double bomb. And he's dead. Whistle for the mount. What?
I'm glad that's
I missed Aaron.
Thanks for the help.
There we go.
What are you?
So again, want the mount to be close to me after it is over.
Come on.
So once I'm on my mount here, you're gonna notice I'm gonna be forcefully taken off my mount here. Just in a second. Just like that.
I don't know.
Oh, what am I doing?
Makes sense.
Had a little bit of a brain fart there.
Is this shadow?
So basically, you're not allowed to be on the mount while you have dialogue here with another character. So, but as soon as Aloy's dialogue here is over, I can jump back on the mount. You're gonna see it one more time here on the way to this fight. Because again, you're supposed to follow Aaron here, but you can just walk ahead on them. So examine the blood here. This is one of the places where there's plenty of things to examine, but you only have to do one to progress, which is the blood, and then back on the mount. So in this fight up here, there's going to be a guy going down a zip line. Pay attention to that guy, because there's actually a unique glitch here on ultra hard difficulty, which he won't go down the zip line. And if he does that, I have to kill him first. If he doesn't, I have to kill him basically last. Here I get knocked off the mount again. Because otherwise he glitches out if you don't kill him and he doesn't go down the zip line. So we'll see how he's going to treat us. And again, it only happens on ultra hard. So here we go. He didn't go down the zip line, so we pop him with a headshot. Kill the other 3 archers here. Load a double shot for this guy because he has more health. And I shoot beneath both his armpits. There we go. Load in triple shot and then point my camera to the back corner here. That's going to manipulate the other Ravager spawns, because now 2 Ravagers are spawned. what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna freeze them. Got a little too close to him. He's now frozen. Hit him in the head with the triple shot. That is enough to one-shot him after he's been frozen. Then we have the other one. And notice how he came from the right side there. So because I had my camera pointed towards that corner as they spawned, that guarantees he's gonna spawn on the right, which is a lot closer than the left side. Right here, again, I whistle for my mount, but this time I have a little more examination to do.
They're shattered.
Beforehand.
Something hit these stones. Something
Because
I've never
here we
seen
just
before.
basically had to examine everything, figure out what
Those
happened to
leather
Olin's
straps.
sister.
Armor straps. Cut with a
Olin,
knife.
I mean Aaron. Sorry, I get those two names mixed up all the time. And after that, we are gonna restart from save here, because that brings us right back to Aaron.
By the tripod.
And you might have noticed there's a lot of loading screens and stuff with these restarts from save. But in the Horizon community, thankfully, we are using loadless time, even for console runs. So basically, every time you see a loading screen, that is not counted in your time if you're submitting for the leaderboards. And you can see right there, the mount was right in front of me up after the cutscene. So if you think there's a lot of loading screens, and to be fair, they are a lot faster on PC, you know, they're not counted during runs. But before I explain more about that, we're going to go down here and cross the river. Then you see there's two Ravagers there. They are always here. He's got his back turned, so I'm going to go towards his back, bump into him. And hopefully they're going to shoot at me and not directly attack me. Okay, they're shooting, so we're fine. Because Ravagers are the best thing out of that can spawn there. It can also be Sawtooths, which are a lot more aggressive because they don't have any shoot or ranged attacks, so they always go for melee. But shooting there is totally fine. It does damage, but not enough to, you know, knock us off our mount. So that's why I was hoping for that. And then right here, if you pay attention to the navigation bar on the top of the screen, you will see a campfire appear, and that's going to turn green. I'm actually activating this campfire, and I'm going to use it in like 40 minutes from now. But it turned green right there. That is when you get close enough to it, it is then active. And then I immediately turn to the right, because now we're heading towards Maker's End. But like I said, that campfire is going to be used for later. So just slightly going out of my way to make it a bit quicker later in the run here. What was I explaining before? I lost track of it. But going here to Maker's End, we have another fight coming up, which I would say is the last of the gauntlet, as I talked about, the place that usually, you know, decides for most of my attempts whether they live or die whenever I'm going for these record runs in this category. So the Maker's End fight here is the first time we encounter Deathbringer, which are the ancient machines. But they're lucky for us, the first one here at Maker's End has very low health because it's just been dug out of the ground. So we can basically one-shot it with our ice cannon because it's quite powerful.
Who is she?
And then after that we have to do a quick cleanup here again. And hopefully we can do it fast enough so there's a certain archers, there are 3 archers in this fight, that normally go behind cover if you're too slow. So it's a fight where you have to be as fast as possible to prevent them from doing that. And again, there's going to be another manipulation in terms of where I'm going to be standing in the fight that's going to trick one of them into not going into cover. Because an enemy will only take cover if it can see you. So there's an archer on the left that I'm going to be staying behind cover for him, or out of sight for him, to make sure he doesn't go behind cover. But first we got a little skip here into the fight here. So I'm just going to ride through here, jump over this rubble. And then in order to get into the fight a little earlier, we're going to use all the environment here. Oh. Gonna jump on top of this beam, stand on this beam here, jump up here. And then a tough jump across here that is easy to mess up, and I did, so I'll quickly redo that again. Let's go for the backup strats, why not? It's a marathon. The problem with this beam here is it's kind of slippery unless you're standing right in the center of it. And here, let's see if we can get it the second time. Nope. Sorry for messing it up, but I really want to show it, so I'm gonna keep doing it. At least one more try at least. There we go. And then jump across. Apparently I can't get it right now, so sorry about that. So we're gonna have to go for the backup strat for the fight. Normally I won't redo the skip, I'll just immediately go to the fight because it's never worth redoing it. But anyway, go into the fight here. I'm gonna use the ice rail or cannon here to shoot the death ring on one shot. Kill the big guy, lob a bomb at this guy coming at me. And there's a second guy because I didn't get the skip. Kill the Watcher. Archer's on the right. Keep in mind there's still one on the left. And I missed that guy, and the Watcher somehow didn't die there. Didn't my bomb hit him directly? I'm not sure what I'm... And you see this guy on the left, he's slightly behind cover, but that's just unlucky. Normally that's not the cover I was talking about before. But because I stayed far enough back in that fight, he didn't have a line of sight on me, so he didn't go behind the actual cover I was referring to. He just happened to be standing perfectly next to a beam that took away my line of sight.
Hey!
So that is the Maker's End fight done here. And right here, I'm just quickly gonna wait for the voice to start before jumping down this elevator. Because if you go down the elevator before the voice starts, you actually softlock the quest. You can just restart from save to get rid of it, but it's one of the biggest rookie mistakes in the run. So right here, we use that Death Bringer statue to skip 2 floors of the building, just like that. And then we continue our climb to the rest of the climb here to the top. But yeah, there's 2 particular spots where if you do something too quickly, you'll softlock the game, and basically every new runner of this game always makes that mistake, and it's always learned the hard way. So, and the problem with this one in Maker's End especially is you don't know the game is softlocked until you have finished everything in the building, which is kind of an issue. That's why it ports out a lot of people. And then we're going to continue to the rest of the top of the building here. And on top of the building, we're going to encounter our first holograms, which is basically unskippable cutscenes. But there are some things we're going to do to save a little bit of time once we get up here. But if you quickly want to throw in 1 donation before I reach the top, you can go ahead with that.
Yeah, I think I can get that here. Conflict Baguette has sent in $50. Awesome event as always. My girlfriend wants that small neck. She 100%ed Horizon last year, so this would be a nice trophy.
My god, that small neck is like the cutest thing I've ever seen, I have to say.
I can't tell you how much fun it is to hold, seriously.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely donating for that, just saying. Just for a chance to getting it, because, my god, it's adorable. Anyway, once we get to the top here, we're gonna have something that is usually referred to as Fleur Skip, even though I can explain it a bit, but there's essentially like I think 7 or 8 things in this at this point in the run that's called Fleur Skip. But let me explain the skip itself first before I explain the story behind that. So we're gonna come up here, and then we're gonna use this beam on the side of the building, jump across here, aim a weapon to keep balance, turn around here. Okay, I didn't nail the jump, or the last jump. We do have to turn around again here. And there we go. So that gets us up earlier, but it also does another thing that you will see after the first hologram. Right here, I'm gonna craft ammo while the dialogue is going on. And then the first hologram is gonna appear right here. Which is, these 3 holograms is gonna be a dialogue between Ted Faro and Sobek, basically explaining why the apocalypse happened. Because in case you don't know, Horizon is a post-apocalyptic game. And it turns out Ted Faro and his company had this brilliant idea, to create AI military robots that can self-replicate. And to no one's surprise, the apocalypse happened. So yeah. But while that's playing, let me explain to you what why there's the Fleur Skip thing. But there's a runner in a community who found a bunch of skips called Fleur. And in my stream, at one point he asked, why is no skips named after runners in this game? And I told him it's because, well, most of the skips are found by the same person, so it'd be confusing to name them after everyone. And then he thought it would be funny to name every single thing he found Fleur Skip. So that has now become a meme. And like I said, there's like 7 or 8 things called Fleur Skip at this point in the run. So yeah, bit confusing.
Faro brought Elizabeth Sobek here.
So that's the first hologram. Then we got the second one here. We are just pointing our focus here as where they're gonna spawn. So now we have the trick, or the reason why we did the beam, or the second reason why we did this beam job. So normally you climb up here to get to the office. And right before you climb, there's actually a dialogue trigger here for Aloy. Now, in between the holograms as well, Aloy is going to have some dialogue. Especially between hologram 2, which we are watching right now, and 3, which is the longest of the dialogues. And like I said, there's a dialogue trigger right here that we skipped because we jumped on top of this beam and climbed up. So as soon as the second hologram ends, which is when Aloy starts her dialogue, I'm gonna move forward and hit this dialogue trigger, which then cuts Aloy's normal dialogue off, and I can then restart from save and completely skip the dialogue between hologram 2 and 3. Yeah, by saving even more time from, you know, the skip we did before. Hopefully that explains it well enough, so you understand it. And then after that, we of course have the last hologram, where there's even more tricks, because turns out the top of Maker's End Tower here, there was some oversights when they developed this. So, well, you'll see.
The Faro robots.
And it's one of those speedruns tricks that everyone can do, so pay attention and you can have some fun with this trick that you're about to see. Right there, you saw me jump into the dialogue trigger. That cuts Aloy off, or Aloy cuts herself off, and then we start the last hologram. So first thing here, first oversight, is I guess I can show you a little magic trick here, because we can make Aloy disappear simply by walking into this pillar, because yeah, they forgot to get this pillar collision. So you can just walk into it and Aloy disappears. You can kind of see her foot there. But yeah, for some reason, they forgot to get this collision. And the same goes for the pillar over there and there.
Yes, you can.
So he can just walk through this. And even another oversight is, normally when you whistle for mount, you know, it doesn't spawn inside buildings, because it's not supposed to. But this is a balcony that is outside. And if you go outside on the balcony here, then whistle. Would you look at that? That's a mount. So a mount can spawn on top of here, because I guess they forgot to make sure that the mount doesn't spawn out there, because it counts as being outside, I guess. But then we're gonna park a mount right here and wait for the last hologram to finish.
Jesus, Liz. You don't have to threaten me.
And you might be wondering, why do you need a mount up here? And by the way, that's the simple trick you can do if you want to do a trick yourself. Just go onto the balcony, have your back turned and whistle. The mount will spawn up here. So remember when I said mounts, if you are on a mount when you fast roll, you'll have it afterwards? That's why we need a mount up here. Because now the dialogue is going to be over for the last hologram. And I can stand right here where the next dialogue is going to appear with silence. We're just going to skip through it right real quick. And then we'll jump on the mount and fast roll out of here. Because the next place we're going to is a place where the mount is allowed to be. Therefore we can have it after the fast roll. Because now we're actually going back to the War Chief's Trial, which is the quest we started earlier. And there's actually a pretty cool new speedrun trick we're gonna use for this fight when we get to it. But one more thing I forgot. Oh yeah, if you want to see the mount, or if you watch 100% speedrun, you'll see those mount, the mount being used for fast roll a lot more. It's not done that much in this run because, well, oops. In this run because, what's it called? Most of the places you fast roll to, you're not allowed to have a mount. So, but in 100% you'll see a lot more of it. So we're gonna bring out a Storm Slinger again here, which we're gonna use for the next trick, which is, we're basically gonna use the checkpoints of the game in order to, you know, move a lot further ahead, as you will see. But first, coming up here, again, another examination. Again, you're supposed to, you know, examine a ton of stuff, but if you already know which one you need to pick to progress, you can just do that one and move on.
Might be a blood trail I could follow. I should try my focus.
And this fight, you're also gonna see me use the Stormslinger to kill some enemies with ranged attacks. Because in the fight coming up here, the enemies are kind of scattered around this big crater. And so we're gonna use the high ground, because as we all know, the high ground is win by default, to take out a lot of the enemies that are far away, and then jump down and finish the rest of them off with bombs. And hopefully that's gonna go as smoothly as possible. But first, we're gonna do that checkpoint trick. After we meet up with Sona here, who is the war chief.
She could be close.
Because now we're on the part of the section, or the section of the run I usually call the Nora section, where you do the main quest part of helping the Nora out, as I mentioned earlier.
Getting a signal from you.
So what I'm gonna do here, normally you have to go a little far to get to the fight here. But as soon as you get to this point, there's a little gap you can shoot through here to alert the enemies over at the fight. And then if you because that starts the fight. And once the fight is started, the checkpoint is then set next to the fight. So restarting from save puts you right here at the fight. So now we're in the fight. I'm gonna roll up a bomb here at an explosive to take out one scrapper, kill that guy, kill that scrapper before he runs away. And then some long range shot here while keeping track of my health. That is all of the long range ones. And then finish off with bombs, as I said. Got two guys in the background here. This guy is moving to the right, and that's all of them. So a lot of the fighting you'll see done in this run is fairly consistent in the way that, yeah, the enemies are not always going to be in the exact same spot. But that's where you need that experience to know what to do depending on where the enemies are and what they are doing. So there's a lot of reactionary strats in some of these fights. Right there, I switched to the Stormslinger, or I switched the Stormslinger out again because I'm done using it in the run, because the rest of the run it doesn't have much use for. Again, the Stormslinger is used a lot more on the easier difficulties because of how powerful it is. But like I said, on Ultra Hard, if you use it too much, you simply die. So,
A blaze stockpile inside their base. I found
right here we finish off the War Chief.
Sounds
And gonna restart from save, because, again, puts us a little closer to where we need to go. And then we're gonna head off to the next Nora quest, which is the Revenge of the Nora, which has a little unique trick to it. But first, there's a little bit of a right there, so I think we can fit in like 2 donations if you want.
Oh, I got them coming. We are getting a ton of $50 donations building up towards that GTA 3 run. We just crossed $70,000 on that. We need $19,500 to get that run added to the marathon. So let's grab a couple of those on the way here. I've got Little Blonde Russian coming in with $50. I'm 4 years too late to the party and just finished Horizon Zero Dawn, so I am so excited to watch Elk destroy the game in less than 2 hours when it took me 80+ hours. I've also got a $50 donation from Jay Copter. Love seeing Horizon Zero Dawn run at GDQ. My sister had a video game themed wedding and I dressed as Aloy. I ended up being their flower girl too.
Nice. Yeah, please get that GTA run, because, come on, it's GTA 3, it's Casey. What's not to love about it? So we'll definitely get there. We still got a lot of time. And don't make me slow down to make sure we make the goal, by the way. Anyway, so now we got Revenge of the Nora coming up, and this quest is a bit unique, because after you complete the War Chief, all the objectives for the quest has already spawned in, meaning that we can complete them without starting the quest. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. You can call it kind of a sequence break, if you will, I guess. So essentially, there are 3 camps you have to clear, and then you have to go inside the Ring of Metal at the end, where you fight off the remaining Eclipse soldiers here in the area. So we're gonna clear the 3 camps, and then go to the Ring of Metal. Now you might be wondering, well, why do you do that before you start the quest? Because 2 things. First, it makes it so you can get to the camps faster, because, you know, starting the quest is a bit further away. And secondly, which I'll explain after the first camp here, because first, gonna take out this guy, bomb this guy, switch to fire arrows, hit the barrel in the back to hopefully kill both. We only got 1, so we have some cleanup to do after this. Bomb the guy in the middle, bomb the guy in the back that survived, and then finish off the Watcher while whistling. Got a little shot there, so he survived. But that's the first camp. So, where was I going? Oh yeah, when you're doing the camps without starting the quest, there's gonna be no Nora spawned in to help you. Because, surprise, surprise, NPCs, even though they want to help, are not that helpful, because they can make the enemies go into places that you are not, you know, you don't want them to go. Because the camps are actually probably one of the most consistent places. Especially this next camp coming up. As long as you do it perfectly, it's gonna work the exact same way every time. So we're gonna be a bit stealthy here. And kill this guy first, kill the guy sitting down, headshot the guy next to the alarm. Kill this guy before he sees us. There we go. And yes, this is stealth gameplay. This guy is a little hard to spot at times. And I did miss it.
Over here.
Well, stealth has failed. Or not. Okay, we did get spotted at the end here. But, you know, still somewhat stealthy, I guess. And by the way, stealth in my book is, as long as you don't get spotted, it's stealthy gameplay. I think that is how it works, right? So that's the second camp. And then the last camp here, we're gonna go a bit louder than on the second camp. Because we want to go loud at the end, so I'm gonna stealth kill the first three here. By going up into this guy's face. Killing that guy over the table. Guy in the background here. I shot underneath his arm again. And then for the last guys, I'm gonna intentionally get spotted here before I kill this guy. Use a bomb on that guy. This guy comes out. And then because I intentionally got spotted, this last guy will be out of the trench. If I could hit my bomb throws. Here we go. Yeah, aim is not exactly on point today. I guess I'm a little bit of in Stormtrooper mode today. But oh well, it happens. It's a marathon. But yeah, as you saw there, because I intentionally got spotted, that guy came out of the trench, giving me a line of sight to kill him. Now all three camps are cleared. And even though we haven't started the quest, for some reason, Sonanval is still gonna appear here. Again, even though we haven't started it, so it doesn't make much sense.
Sound. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Which is now gonna start the Ring of Metal part of it. The Ring of Metal is basically an old football stadium that we're gonna go into, and we're gonna set off some blaze. And then we have to clear 3 waves of enemies and a big bellowback machine. So first we have to wait for Val here, so we got some time to set up our weapons. Again, you just want to set up your weapons whenever you have downtime. And preferably doing dialogue, because whenever you craft ammo, the game slows down. So you can do it in combat, but again, that loses time. But if you can do it during dialogue, you know, dialogue can't be slowed down, so it kind of offsets each other. And you'll notice I have the ice rail ready here. That's because the first wave is already spawned in when I get in here. First, there's a group of enemies we don't have to kill that we can just walk past. But then I'm going to use the ice rail or the ice cannon to take out the bellowback here. And that's going to make a lot of noise, which is perfect because the first wave is very much spread out. And then I'm going to shoot or kill the bellowback, and by that time it's done, I'm then going to set off the blaze from really far away with the ice cannon. Because the blaze inside here works differently to anywhere else in the game. And making all that noise is gonna get the entire first wave to bunch up together right here where I want them to. So first, take out the bellowback, make as much noise as possible. Gonna take 3 shots here. Like that, and then turn and shoot the blaze over here in the back with the ice cannon. Normally you're supposed to get really close to hit a fire arrow on it. But yeah, we don't have to do that. And then after the cutscenes, the first wave here will be nice and conveniently bunched a bit more together here. Not always, they are, you know, somewhat bunched up, but this works out pretty nicely. And then as soon as we have cleared the first wave here, of course, the next wave is gonna spawn in. Did I get that guy? I did. Couldn't really tell there. The next wave is gonna spawn over here in the back because I was so far ahead. That forces the spawn on this side. Use my focus to make sure that I've killed everyone, because you do not want to move on for a wave before you have killed everyone, because otherwise extra enemies can actually spawn. This guy there. Whoops. So you want to make sure you've cleaned up as much as possible before you move on. Gonna hit the barrel there that took out 3. There's a guy more in the back. I think we're good. Yep. And then open the map twice again, and then I'm gonna go back to a campfire next to the first camp. Because now we actually have to start the quest we just did. Because the game doesn't allow you to progress unless you complete the camp or complete the quest, which you can only do technically by starting it. But like I said, since we have already completed all the objectives, the game is just, as you're gonna see right here. When I start the quest by saving at this campfire, gonna make sure my mount is close. Go through the dialogue here, or the intro cutscene. And because all the cutscenes are, all the objectives are cleared, the quest completes instantly. Which is convenient, because here where the quest start is right on the path where we need to go next. And just to explain how I was able to shoot that blaze with an ice cannon. So the blaze inside the ring of metal is programmed differently to other blaze, because normally you have to use explosive or fire to set it off. But inside ring of metal, it just has to be anything that does enough damage to set it off, meaning I can use the ice cannon, which can shoot things from really far away, and to get a nice big explosion without getting close to it. So that works out pretty nice. And Grave Horde coming up is a little complicated. So before I get to the complicated part, why don't we have, let's get a few more donations, shall we? Let's have a 2 or 3 before we get there.
All right, I'm going to try and get through these pretty quick. I've got a $100 donation from Sandals. I need that small neck and GTA 3. We are just a hair over $18,000 away from that. Keep it up, everybody. I've got a $200 donation from Ted Farrow. Oops, sorry about the whole apocalypse thing. I sure hope Liz can fix this.
And you can go for 2 more here before I get there.
All right, sounds good. Hexy coming in with $250. Let's get the GTA incentive. And then I've got to get this one in real quick. $25 from Panda Slothacorn. Happy anniversary to my wife. Perfect day. GDQ is on, Horizon is on, and I get to watch all of it with my best friend in the world. Happy anniversary to the most amazing person I know.
That's awesome. Happy anniversary there. So Grave Horde here is all the way to the north of the map here. So now we have made our way all the way north. Like I said, Grave Horde can be a little complicated because there's basically, we have 2 tricks happening basically back to back, and then we have the fight. But luckily, after the fight, there's another hologram where I get time to explain it. So you might be a bit confused, but just hang on a minute, because I'll do my best to explain it afterwards. First, there's a lot of optional enemies right here that you don't have to kill. So again, optional means let's just go past them. And we're dead. That's a restart from save. So what happened there is Aloy didn't grab the zipline. For some reason, sometimes in this room, Aloy refuses to grab said zipline. And you die. I jumped off the edge there before grabbing it. It doesn't lose too much time because we're right here. Normally I jump for the zipline before I go off the edge to, avoid that from happening. But again, trying to compensate and run at the same time, these things happen. It's a marathon. It's totally fine. So first off here we come across a locked door where we have to do some puzzles to, get past it. So we're gonna go over here and put in the puzzles. Normally you're supposed to get some clues to know the answers here, but the answers are always the same, so you can just plug them in immediately. And then right after this is when the fun begins in Grave Horde here, because this is one of the coolest places if you're into, speedrun tricks. Granted, Horizon doesn't have that many speedrun tricks compared to other games, but this is where you want to pay attention if you want to see the cool tricks here. So first, once the last puzzle is plugged in here, we restart from save, because that brings us right next to the door again, so we don't have to climb up. And then right here you can notice that I'm going to set up my weapons on the fly. There's a bunch of things you can do to load weapons and stuff while moving here. For example, while Aloy is in the door animation, she can load in a triple shot to a bow. Then I'm gonna pull out the ice rail, make sure it's reloaded, back to the bombs, and then get our big health potions ready, because we might take a lot of damage here. Then here you're supposed to normally climb a lot of stuff, but we are just gonna do like a Titanfall 2 style wall run to skip all that, and also all those enemies. Well, you don't have to fight them. But here comes the fight. So first we have to activate this hologram, which has a locked door at the end of this hallway. Or it's not a hologram, but dialogue with silence. Then I'm gonna pick up this power cell, which is then gonna stop the dialogue, which opens the door. Then I'm gonna open the door, shoot out the floor on the other side, skip the cutscene, fall all the way down without taking any damage, and then start freezing the Deathbringer here while we get close. Bait out the stomp so I can shoot him a bit more before he uses missiles again. Get the triple shot twice on the cannon. Bomb the guy in front, bomb the guy from behind. And then see if we can hit the side shot here. Ah, I hit the backpack on him. But there we go. So that finishes that fight. So as you see, a lot of things happen there back to back. Hopefully you were able to keep up. So let me just start the hologram here, and then we'll get back into the room and explain what just happened. First, let's just set up our weapons here, so we don't have to do that later.
Thank you, Dr. Sobek. You can take a seat.
That was a pretty quick fight. Again, our weapons are quite powerful in New Game Plus. So, normally you have to be in the room and listen to the hologram, but turns out holograms still play if you leave the room, so you don't have to watch it. Which is convenient, and it will be important later, so remember that for later. So what happened? So I picked up the power cell, which skips the dialogue between Aloy and Silence, which then opens that door I came through up there a little earlier. Now, excuse me. So picking up the power cell skips the dialogue, which then opens the door, because the door opens after dialogue. And it cuts it short and basically saves 35 seconds simply picking up that power cell right there. People always wonder why I pick it up, but again, 35 seconds of dialogue skip. Then when I opened the door, as soon as the door was opening, I shot a bomb through the floor, or through the door, sorry, to hit the floor on the other side, and you can see it's destroyed. That's where my bomb hit. So what happens in the cutscene is Aloy walks through the door and then stands on this floor, and then the cutscene ends. So, destroying the floor and then skipping the cutscene makes Aloy fall down. But it turns out in this game, if you start falling in the middle of a cutscene, your falling damage gets cancelled, thereby I can fall all the way down without taking any damage and immediately go into the fight. Then I went up to the Deathbringer, I froze him, then I got really close to bait out a stomp from him, which delays his missiles attacks, just enough time so I can shoot 2 times on his cannon to take him out, and then clean up the human enemies while moving back towards the left. Why am I moving back towards the left? Because that's where the door is you need to go through when the fight ends. And one thing you can usually tell by somebody who's experienced running this game versus somebody who's new is how well they are able to be next to the next objective once the fight is over, compared to a new runner that usually finishes the fight no matter where they are. Once you have a bit more experience with the run, you have to start focusing on making sure that when the fight is over, you're already on you're already in the next spot where you want to be. Essentially minimizing travel time as much as possible. So it's usually a thing I always notice between, you know, people that run the game a lot versus people that are pretty new. But of course, if you're new to the game, that's not a thing you should at all worry about in the beginning. But it's a good indicator to tell where, you know, where a person finishes the fight. You know, that you can tell they have that practice down. And if you have a keen eye, you can probably notice that a lot in a lot of the fights where I try to finish them as close to the next objective as possible. So what we are going to do here now is we are going to head back to Meridian to set up another quest we are going to do later. Which is the Borderlands quest. Where you first have to go to Meridian and talk to the Sun King, who then gives you the quest. But we're just going to do this now, talk to the king, and then we'll do the rest of the quest later in the run. Because again, it's not convenient for the route at the moment. Excuse me, I have a bit of a sore throat right now. But once again here, we're gonna come up to a good friend Marad here, aka Blameless Marad, which is another character, again, you're supposed to follow, but again, that's just a suggestion, so you can just walk ahead and wait for him. Unfortunately, in this section, it turns out that the next cutscene doesn't start until Marad gets here. So what I'm gonna do is just go up here, and then you'll see Avad and Aaron just stand here and stare into the, you know, just stare blankly into the air while we wait for Marad. They're probably just standing there, thinking about, you know, the past. Probably somebody, you know, they probably had feelings for, and, you know, the other person probably had as well. But they never really took a chance with it, and, you know, and then now they're just standing there wondering, you know, what is that person doing today? Could have done something in the past and all that.
What's the Sun King like?
But oh well, Marad is here, so let's continue the run. And after this, we're gonna be heading to the Eclipse base, where we're gonna take down the focus network of the Eclipse, so they can communicate. And while we're on the way there, we are gonna have a little bit of a ride again from A to B, because it is an open world game, so there are some traveling here. Once again here, you're gonna see me flip the camera before I whistle for my mount. I don't think I explained it earlier. I think that was the thing I might have forgotten. But essentially, the mount always wants to spawn off camera. So as long as you know, flip the camera towards the direction you want to go, there's a good chance the mount will spawn in that direction. So again, if you have a keen eye, pay attention to how much I flip the camera before I whistle for mounts in this run. Anyway, since we are a little bit on our way here, do you mind fitting in another donation?
I do not mind at all. Do you mind if I get a couple in here?
Can we do one, and then I'll explain something, and then you can do more after that?
All right, I'll get this one started. We got a $5 donation from Siraki. Chugga, 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 choo, choo. $5 train incoming.
Awesome. So I just quickly want to explain here, because this is one of the most important places in the run where you encounter machines on the way to something. Because right here, you actually want to pay attention. Because we're going to have machines here. We're going to have, as you can see, a sawtooth on the left and 2 bellowbacks in front. And then there's another sawtooth all the way to the right. And then depending on how early we spotted, and we got spotted really early, the sawtooth on the right is gonna come towards us. He might have done that so early that he's not gonna see us. No, he's right next to us. I'm gonna go across here, use the bridge as cover so he can't hit us. He crossed the bridge because he's smart. Damn it, the machines are getting too smart. The mount is trying his best to keep him at bay, and we get away. So yeah, I was gonna use the bridge as cover to prevent him from hitting me, but he was too smart and just crossed the bridge and then hit me. The machines are really gonna take over the world, aren't they? Anyway, back to donations.
Okay, so everybody watching, look at the green bar on the bottom of the screen. That is going to tell you how close we are. This train moves that bar to the right, so let's see how many I can get on one breath. I've got a $5 donation from Aloy is Baloy. Wanted to drop my first donation ever during one of my favorite games. Good luck with the run, Aloy is Baloy. Blue Braid Elf sent in $5. $5 train at 55.55. I can do that. Anonymous sent in $5. No comment. Bambi Magnet sent in $5. 5 at 55.55. RD Garrett sent in $5. Go Elk Go and go chat go. Let's get this GTA 3 run. I have to take a breath. Names are silly sent in $5.55 with no comment. Alora sent in $5. Choo choo. Serio X sent in $5 with no comment. Oh wait, that was a comment.
Very nice. Right here again, abusing the checkpoints because you hit a new checkpoint there, but when you restart from save, you spawn a lot further ahead. Now we're gonna head into the Eclipse base, which doesn't really have any combat, but it has a lot of skips back to back. So first off, I'm gonna make sure in my quick menu in the bottom left that I have my mount ready, because I'm gonna need that after we go through this entire section. So you're supposed to be, again, stealthy here in the next section, but there's no penalty for just running straight down the middle, so let's do that. And so there's 2 groups of machines here. There's first one, gonna try to dodge that. That was perfectly timed. And then just continue straight down the middle. Normally there's a climbing path on the left here you're supposed to take, but conveniently there's a branch sticking out here that I can just use the hitboxes off to jump up here early. And skip the first section, then we're in the second section where there's a ton of scrappers. And it looks like they're just all having their back turned, so they can't do anything. And then again here, gonna do some climbing, which leads us into the next section, where you're supposed to fight a ton of Eclipse soldiers. But conveniently, there's a massive gate on the right with a ton of hitboxes that we're gonna use. So I'm gonna jump on top of this torch and then use the remainder of the hitboxes to simply go across the gate and skip that entire fight. Or torch, you could also call it a lamp. I mean, it is GDQ, so let's call it the lamp. And then we're gonna head down here to the tall neck, where we destroy the focus network, and then we have to make our daring escape.
I see it.
And this is usually the make or break whenever you do a no damage run of this game. Or whenever I do it, because sadly I'm still the only person to have completed a full no damage run of this game. And this section, as you're about to see, is pretty hard to do without taking damage. But what we're gonna do here is another flare skip where you just jump around and skip some climbing. Whoops, a little bit of slip there. Jump up here, jump across, skip the climbing. You can just barely make that jump. Climb across normally here. And then right here, I'm gonna turn to the left instead of continuing ahead. Use some more environment here to get on top. So normally the path is a bit S-shaped here, but I'm gonna turn it into a straight line by simply jumping over all these rocks, which also skips a couple of enemies that are on the left. And now we're already at the end of the escape here. We can just simply go through all these guys. Just continue ahead. And then we have the rappel here where we make our escape. And here is rookie mistake number 2. You have to wait for the quest to complete before you fast travel. That might have looked pretty quick there, but every new runner of this game always fast travels too early. The game soft locks the quest if you fast travel. Actually, no, it's a hard lock because the quest can't be completed, I think. Actually, not sure. If you fast travel too early there. So wait for the text to pop up that you completed the quest before you fast travel. Again, one of those things that every runner messes up on their first run. And you always learn it the hard way. Some things are just best taught the hard way, I guess. Because, you know, it's such a simple thing that, you know, you're probably not going to think about it on your first run, and then you're just like, what happened? And then you ask in the community, and then everybody is like, yeah, that is the rookie mistake. Speaking of which, we actually have a really great community for Horizon speedruns. I'm, of course, extremely excited for the sequel, which is coming out. Of course, no release date, but we are still waiting for that. But yeah, we got a great community with people from basically all over the world, from Australia to Europe, North America, Africa, India, you know, South America. Lots of runners from across the world, all passionate about, you know, not only the game, but also speedrunning the game. And last time I was at GDQ, I was talking about how amazing 2020 had been for us, and we kept getting more runners. And that has not slowed down. There are still more runners coming into this game, and it's lovely to see. So, if you're interested in learning this game, it's actually pretty easy to learn. There's a lot of stuff and a lot of friendly people in the community that can easily help you out with getting started. So the only person that usually are holding you back from learning this game as a speedrun is yourself. So yeah, consider stopping by our community sometime. First, we're just gonna skip the climbing by jumping between these two pillars and get down safely. Then we got some unskippable dialogue here. But yeah, I mean, you can go to speedrun.com and find our Discord server where we hang out, talk about strats and all sorts of other things. So if you're interested in learning this game, it's super easy and the community is extremely welcoming. It's by far the best speedrunning community I've ever been a part of, so you're always welcome there, so join if you're interested. And there's all sorts of runs. Even if you're not into New Game Plus, which I'm doing here, you know, there's any %, which is where you do New Game from a fresh playthrough. If you're more into that style of gameplay. So yeah, lots of things. You can also run the DLC, 100%, Hunting Grounds. All sorts of great things. Now we're entering Zero Dawn here, aka roll credits. Because this is the facility we have to go through. And in here we're gonna see some interesting skips once again that are again gonna happen quickly back to back. And we're gonna have the most, I think most people would agree this is the most interesting trick of the run, which is just commonly referred to as Zero Dawn skip, even though it doesn't skip Zero Dawn, but you know,
That doesn't make
semantic.
sense. Life on Earth didn't cease to exist.
Starting off here, there's just a lot of setup here for the story, and then we'll get into
Somehow.
the battle here. So first section, we are gonna have 3 soldiers come at us with fire cannons, which do a lot of damage. So we preferably wanna kill them as fast as possible without missing too much, because otherwise they can just absolutely melt us.
Through the vents. I can pass them undetected.
First, we just have one more cutscene to go through. Gonna hug the left wall here, because enemies that are not necessary to kill are behind me. So hug the left wall makes it so they don't spot you.
The whole Earth.
And then coming up here is the fight. I'm gonna kill the guy in the middle first, because his animation always is a bit more stationary than the 2 guys on the left and right.
Intruder! Get her!
So it's a little easier to pop the headshot on that guy, then go to the left, headshot, and then the last guy. Perfect shooting there. That's what we like to see.
Done this before.
Then next skip immediately right after here. There's a power cell you need to grab to activate the second puzzle.
Maybe there's a storage area.
You can just squeeze Aloy in between this pike and the floor above. Come on. There we go.
Found one. Looks intact.
Little bad angle there on that one. But you squeeze Aloy in between those 2 things and she, you know, clips through the floor and you can grab the power cell from below. Meaning that you only have to do one of the puzzles here, because the other puzzle is just to go upstairs. So nice little trick to get the power cell and just do one puzzle. Now next room here, there's 3 guys. I'm only gonna kill 1 because I have to leave some of them alive.
Now to
I'm only killing 1 of them for safety reasons, because he shoots bombs, which is this guy right here. Which makes this skip a little hard, because I'm gonna jump up this pillar, which has the world's smallest hitbox that I have to stand on. So jump up here, turn camera, and jump onto the catwalk to skip the rest of that fight. Normally there's a lot more enemies you have to kill there. Now pay attention to the top left corner, where it says the quest name and the quest objective. That's not gonna change for a while. I'm jumping over there to skip the catwalk, completely skipping the last room of Zero Dawn there, or the last enemy room of Zero Dawn. And then another skip up to a catwalk here by using the environment again to cut through this room faster. Like I said, pay attention to where it says Deep Secrets of the Earth, kill the Eclipse.
Generation.
So the skip I did jumping up that pillar is part of the Zero Dawn glitch/skip. So what that did is it puts the game in, for lack of a better word, confused state, where it still thinks you're in the middle of that fight because the game doesn't think you can skip it. And it's going to continue to be in that state until you either restart from save or die. So it's very important we don't die right now, because it's going to be important for later. But unfortunately, the glitchy state here is going to make this next section here a little bit harder.
It doesn't.
Because normally there's a behemoth you have to fight here in this arena, and we still have to fight him. But normally his AI is different from normal behemoths.
Thing without weapons.
But because we did the trick, you can see the quest, or the quest objective still thinks we are inside Zero Dawn fighting the Eclipse.
Against it.
So the behemoth for this, the behemoth AI here is still normal behemoth AI. Because normally in this fight, the behemoth's AI changes to be more aggressive towards these pillars you have to bring down. But what I'm gonna do here is do some very specific movement to get him to go up here and then stomp this pillar, where he normally would charge it. And that is actually really precise to do the movement there. And also notice the glitch here, there's 2 platforms, one is collapsing, one is staying. Yeah, the game is in a glitchy state, as I said. And you'll also notice the pillars are still here after the fight, and I can't really look up, but yeah, you can see the platform is still there. The game is a bit confused, because again, it thinks I'm inside Zero Dawn right now. So yeah, the AI for the behemoth is normal AI, because the quest hasn't updated, so it doesn't see a reason to give him the AI he's supposed to have in this arena. Now we actually get to fight him, which is super easy. You just bait out an attack and then start freezing him. He's gonna go for another one. Hit him with the freeze here until he's completely frozen, and then 2 triple shots here to a bare spot on his body. Finishes him off. So the fight itself doesn't really matter. It's only on the pillar section the AI difference matters. And also it doesn't really matter how fast you kill that behemoth, but I can explain that in one sec. Because first you're gonna see why we are doing the Zero Dawn skip. Not only the pillar inside Zero Dawn that we skipped up saves about 30 seconds, but because we still have the glitch active, there's another 30-second time save we can do right here. Which is, because we're inside Zero Dawn, we can fast travel wherever we want. And the next quest here you're normally supposed to do is the Heart of the Nora, where you're not allowed to fast travel inside the Embrace because it's under attack. But because the game still thinks we're inside Zero Dawn, it allows us to fast travel inside the Embrace. And now we're just gonna get rid of the glitch after the fast travel here, because the enemies doesn't spawn unless the 2 previous quests are completed. So, restarting from save here spawns in the enemies and the quest while we're inside the Embrace, so we don't have to travel through it. So that is the full Zero Dawn glitch and why we do it. So in total it saves almost a full minute doing all that. And as for the behemoth, why it doesn't matter, I'll explain it maybe a bit later, because I don't have time. I didn't realize this was gonna go so fast. Anyway, going up here, we don't have to kill any of these enemies, we just have to go up here and fight, you know, the famous machine, the Thunderjaw, the one everybody knows from Zero Dawn. So this fight is also a bit interesting. Normally there's some dialogue that has to play before the cutscene starts, but I'm gonna shoot him early. That's gonna make him aggressive. That starts the cutscene a lot earlier than it's supposed to. Then I'm gonna get close to him and try to get on the side of him and try to freeze him here while he's standing sideways. And unfortunately here, he's got his leg pushed up, so I can't do the fast strat, so I have to pick up this gun instead. And just do a ton of damage while he's frozen. I didn't mean to stab that guy, but he was right next to me when I was loading, so that happens. Finish him off with 2 more shots. So normally what's supposed to happen in that fight, by the way, clear out these guys with bombs. Like that, and then look for Ball.
We did it.
I need to talk to him after the fight. What is Ball?
We only helped. I thought we would die.
He's over here. So normally what's supposed to happen is the Thunderjaw has a massive weak spot in his heart, which is on the side of him. But because he was standing in the worst possible location, you saw his leg was kind of put up on a rock, which puts his knee in front of the heart, so you can't shoot into the heart. And yeah, that's just annoying, because loses a lot of time and there's nothing you can do about it. Still a quick kill though, but trust me, you can kill a Thunderjaw so much faster if you have access to the heart. And a bit of a shame I couldn't show it off, but just got really unlucky with that leg placement there. Now we head inside All Mother Mountain here.
Figured I might be hearing from you.
Shall we begin?
And actually, fun fact, I guess we can quickly explain it. If you examine that thing down there, you get Aloy's birthday. In case you didn't know, Aloy's birthday is April 4th in the year 3021. Meaning that Aloy will be born in roughly 1,000 years from now. Or back in April, it was exactly 1,000 years from now.
Of course they hated it.
Dr. Sobek. You are clear to proceed.
The rest of the thing we're just doing here is more story stuff. This is,
What was this
you know,
place
the sad part of the story where you actually figure out that, you know, Aloy went out into the world originally to find out who her mother was. And in these cutscenes we just skip right here. Yeah, it basically turns out Aloy doesn't have a mother because she was giving artificial birth. Which then leads us to the next objective, because not only did she figure that out, she also learns that the reason why she was born is to prevent a really bad thing from happening. So first we have to exit the mountain here before we're allowed to fast travel again, and then we are going to do the Borderlands quest that we set up earlier. And once again, there's a little bit of a ride to get to Borderlands, so you know, you had a donation train going, so can we get some more of those on the way to Borderlands? That would be very nice.
I think I've got a couple more here I can throw at you. Carta sent in another $5. Choo, choo, choo. Jen Fay sent in $5. I just caught the train. Choo, choo. We've got a couple other here I wanted you to hear. Everyday Aussie sent in $50. Good luck, Elk. So excited to see Horizon Zero Dawn main game here on GDQ, and I'm ready to see you smash out this run. This game is special.
Shoutouts to Aussie. He was the guy I originally learned the run from. When I joined the community, he well, he still has the records in those categories, but you know, because we don't really run the same categories anymore. But I learned the run from him, so huge shout out to him. He recently got the world record in the new Ratchet and Clank game, but I'm not sure if he has it still, because you know, new game, records change. But shout outs to us. Great member of the community, and has done a lot for this game in terms of skips and strat optimization. So yeah, we're heading to Borderlands now, which is the final quest, or actually no, it's the second to last quest in the figuring out what happened to Aaron's sister. But there's still a bit more travel time here. You'll notice me cross the river here and go on the right side of the river. This is to activate a campfire that we're going to use after Borderlands to go to Gaia Prime quickly. Because normally, yeah, it is faster to stay on the left side to get to where the Borderlands quest is. But going on the right side is a little faster because you activate that campfire along the way. But yeah, sorry I interrupted you, but feel free to, if you can, do 2 more donations or something. Or a shout out or something.
No, I think we can get a couple. And also, just a quick update. We are now under $11,000 left to GTA 3. So everybody, please keep it up. Train is moving to the right. I have a $500 donation from Blackthron. Zero Dawn is my favorite game, and SGDQ and AGDQ is my favorite holiday. Thank you to all of the runners and everyone that helps make this event possible. Y'all are a ray of sunshine in an otherwise rough year. Wish everyone the best RNG.
Very nice. So right there I went past the campfire. If you paid attention to the navigation bar on top, you probably would have seen it activate. Campfires in this game activate when you are within 50 feet of them. I do have to apologize for using feet as a measurement. But I guess the developers wanted this game to feel, you know, like very primitive and stuff, so that's why they're using feet as a measurement. Anyway, let's restart from save here to get into the village a little quicker. Always gotta take a jab at the, you know, Imperial units when you have the opportunity. That is, that is what we have to do as, you know, people that use the metric system. Anyway, going into the village here, you just have to quickly go out and find the agent right here, so there's nothing really takes place here. So just go out, find the agent, obviously cutscenes and stuff, but again, we don't got time for that. Again, you should play the game if you want to know the story, and I highly recommend it. This is one of the very must-plays for any PS4, PS5 owner, or PC now, because it is on PC. So you almost have no excuse for not playing this game unless you're one of those people that only have Xbox or Switch. I'm sure there's like 10 people like that out there. Anyway, right there's 2 Ravagers, and both of them seem to have been roaring, so no, he's chasing. But he did it so late that it doesn't matter. Some Snapmaws we have to navigate through, because there's a big fight we come up to here. Which, again, I'm gonna try my best to be stealthy at the beginning of the fight here. And again, when I say stealthy, I mean not get spotted. Because there's a lot of enemies in this fight that has a ton of health, and taking them out specifically to avoid being spotted as, you know, for as long as possible just makes the fight so much more consistent. And like I said, they have a ton of health, so some of them you can body shot with the powerful bow I have, and others you do have to get a headshot here. So we're just gonna run straight ahead here. There's 3 overlooking where I'm coming from, so I'm gonna take out the 3 here. 1 has to be a headshot because they have a lot of health. Then get into the gate here, look to the left. There's a girl there, body shot. Guy in the middle has to be a headshot. Another archer up here has to be a headshot. Jump over this fence before this guy sees you. I just barely got him there. Headshot the girl in the hut. Headshot the girl in the next tower. Look to the left, there's a girl almost spotting us. Oh, missed. That's fine. Because at this point we can get spotted easily, because the last enemies are pretty consistent where they appear, the remaining 3 here. And you notice I use triple shots here to deal with these, because again they have a lot of... Oops. They have a lot of health. And when they're moving around, obviously hitting headshots is a little harder. Switch to the ice cannon, and then there's a guy coming through this door, which has a ton of health. So we headshot him with the ice cannon to finish him off easily. And then we deactivate this, and then we go down here and we find Ursa, Olin's sister. And I keep saying Olin, it's Aaron. But sadly, she passes away as we find her. So we have to go and get our revenge later for that. But that finishes off Borderlands, and now we're going to be heading to Gaia Prime, which is basically this place where that finishes off the story of Aloy learning about the past and what happens. And basically spills all the beans as to, you know, why is the world the way it is after, you know, the apocalypse, and why did civilization not recover even though Zero Dawn was in place to, you know, teach people what, you know, all the stuff they need to learn. Because we'll find out, because there's a hologram that will explain that. There's actually 2 holograms, but we're only gonna watch one of them. They did a clever trick with these holograms when they designed this place, because there's, like I said, there's 2. The first one you see is the sad one, where, by the way, Elizabeth Sobek, turns out she died, you know, saving other people. So that's the first one. That one makes you sad, and then right after they hit you with another hologram that makes you angry. I just got stomped by a Trambler, or trampled by a Trambler. But it doesn't matter too much, because Tramblers are pretty easy to get away from, even if you're knocked off. So of course a little time loss, but no big deal. So yeah, they hit you with the sad hologram, and then they immediately hit you with the one that makes you angry. Unless you're one of those people in my community that likes to say Ted Farrar did nothing wrong, then you might have a different opinion, but, you know, saying that is questionable, given what Ted Farrar did. But yeah, in order to get to Gaia Prime, there's this mountain path you have to go through with a ton of machines. Well, there's a faster route that skips every single machine, so why not use that? So first we are going to do a little bit of a Skyrimming up the mountain, as we call it, because I don't have to explain that. You guys know what Skyrimming up the mountain means.
Watchers on the other side.
In order to get up here to the side, where we can just walk up the mountain without worrying about any of all the machines here. You can just walk through all the machines, you don't have to fight any of them, but you take a lot of damage if you try to, and also machines hitting you slows you down, so avoiding them is nice. Also, the game will tell you here that you're leaving the play area and you should turn back. Luckily for us, this message is not time-based. You can stay here for like forever and the game never sends you back. It just means that if you go too far out of bounds, it'll send you back. So we're just gonna skirt around the edge here to avoid that. And then you might remember from your normal playthrough that there's a big scary Stormbird here. Well, going over the mountain like that completely skips the Stormbird, because the Stormbird only spawns if you watch the cutscene, and we get nowhere near that cutscene trigger, so there's no Stormbird here, which just makes it really easy to go to Gaia Prime. So we drop down here and then whistle for a mount. And then we can head into Gaia Prime, where we are going to do another trick to save some time. Because we, like I said, we have to watch 2 holograms, but in order to speed it up, we are going to manipulate a bunch of checkpoints inside here. Because the problem with Gaia Prime is there's, like I said, 2 holograms, but after each hologram you have to talk to Silence. After each one. So you can't just, you know, start one, wait for it to run out, you know, in some other place, because you have to go back and talk to Silence. So in order to circumvent that, we'll, well, it'll be a little easier to explain once I'm inside. First, again, a little more climbing skipping here on the left. Basically, climbing is really annoying in this game, and it's kind of slow, so whenever you have the opportunity to skip the quote-unquote intended climbing, you want to do that by abusing basically all the hitboxes in the environment, because you can basically stand on pretty much anything you want to skip climbing. So you also see here, normally you're supposed to, you know, use all those climbing spots to climb down, but you can just skip them by, you know, using gravity, I guess. Gravity tends to be faster than climbing down.
That's my way across.
But I won't always recommend it, especially in real life. And now we are heading towards the first hologram, so the problem with the holograms is also they are really far away from each other. It takes about 45 seconds to travel from the first one to the second one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the first hologram and then start it. And remember what I said at Gravehorde? You don't have to be in the room for the hologram to keep playing.
What's left of it?
So while the first hologram is playing, which is the sad one with Sobug Guys, we should probably get some sad emotes and some, you know, F in the chat, or R2 if you have played Ghost of Tsushima in the chat. So, you know, to mourn her death. But we don't get to see the hologram, because as soon as I started, I will be heading to the second hologram, which you're not supposed to get to before you watch the first one. But, you know, we have our ways. And now, basically, I could stand still for like a little bit of time and just wait, because all I have to do is just get to the second hologram before the first one ends. Because that's gonna set up some checkpoints to be abused. So you can hear the hologram is playing, but once we get far enough away, the subtitles and the voice will disappear. But it's still playing. You can see by the quest objective it says view the hologram. So it's still playing even though I'm far away. And you can also tell by the music. But now I'm heading back to the start of Gaia Prime here, which is this area here that has been completely destroyed by a massive explosion. And then we're going to do a little trick to get up to the second hologram. So the second hologram is... There's some climbing spots that are just out of reach by normal means, so you can't climb up from the other side. So what we're going to do here is a little bit of parkour using this environment here. I want to stand on top of this pillar. I'm going to run here to get some momentum, turn around, stand on this, jump across, get Aloy to camera. Camera is messing me up there. There we go. Jump up to this plate. Make sure I can run and jump up here. And then we get up to this platform. And now you see I'm just high enough to grab these climbing spots that are supposed to be out of reach. I simply jump across and grab them. Now I can climb up to the second hologram. There's actually 3 ways of doing that skip to get to these. And I tend to use what is considered the hardest version of that skip. But that was the first version of the skip we found, and I personally found it myself. So I have a bit of pride in using that one. So that's why I don't use the easy version of the skip. But if you're learning to run, there's a much easier way of doing that skip. But I want to use my own skip. And like I said, it doesn't matter how fast you do it. You just have to start the second hologram, which I just did, before the first one ends. And now I just leave the room. You don't have to leave the room. As soon as you've activated, you could just wait. Because now we wait for the first one to end. And we know the first one has ended when where it says view the hologram in the top left corner gets crossed out. Then I'm gonna restart from save. Because when the first hologram ends, the game sets my checkpoint at the first hologram because I need to talk to Silence. So I don't have to travel back here. So now we just wait. Could pop up here in a sec. You can also tell by the music. The reason why I leave the room, you saw it right there, get crossed out. The reason why I leave the room is so I can hear the music, because sometimes I'm bad at paying attention. So sometimes I use the music to know when the first one is gonna end. And so that's why I like to leave the room of the second hologram. Then I can talk to Silence here.
That's... She doesn't... If it...
And then because the second hologram is active, after I talk to Silence, I can then restart from save, and that puts me back at the second hologram, which is then gonna start over. But even though we started it, but it starts over when you restart from save. So essentially what we did there is we abused the checkpoints to quickly go back and forth between the holograms. And, you know, skip the travel between the holograms, because, remember, we did the traveling between the two while the first one was playing anyway. And that saves those 45 seconds of having to travel between them.
Sorry to alarm you.
And that leaves us here with the bad hologram, or the one that makes you angry, aka the Ted Talk. Where Ted is sadly gonna kill these people. For reasons. So yeah, hopefully that explains it. And also a fun fact about the Gaia Prime skip here is the original version of the skip we thought we had to go back to the first hologram in order to get the checkpoint to work. But when I was doing a run, I accidentally died on the way back after the first hologram has ended. And then I realized I spawned at the first hologram. And then I was like, oh, you can just restart from save when it's over and save a lot of time. And on that exact run, I thought my run had just died because I died on the way back. But it turns out I actually saved, I think, 20 seconds and got a world record because of it. So yeah, unintentional finding of or unintentional optimizing a skip and getting a record for it. So that's a fun thing that happened about 3 years ago, and that was pretty fun at the time. So yeah, all there's left now after we're done here at Gaia Prime, we have one more quest done before we unlock the final quest, which is where Dervil's gonna attack the city to get revenge, and that's part of the Ursa sister line with Aaron. But that is the only quest we have left before the endgame starts here. And right here it said, as you can see, killed the alphas and he deleted Apollo, and that's why people don't have any knowledge of the past. And yeah, like I said, some people in my community like to say Ted Farrow did nothing wrong. I'm not saying I'm endorsing it, but it's funny. And right here, Silent's gonna spawn, because again, we have to talk to him after the hologram.
The world, not a...
Then we can simply go around, pick up the Master Override, which we need to use at the end to stop the final boss called Hades. Again, if you haven't played the game, you probably don't know what I'm talking about, but there's a lot of lore, and I can't go over it in 2 hours. There are people that have dedicated like hundreds of hours to going over all the stories, so doing it in 2 hours while speedrunning is not easy. But yeah, now we're just gonna head back to Silence here and talk to him, and then we're gonna be in the actual the final stage of the game with the last 2 quests, because they both take place in Meridian. So there might not be too much time left for any more donations, so if you wanna just shoot, 3 or 4 donations in here before we begin on the end, then be my guest.
Absolutely, I'm ready. So, quick update, everybody. We are just a little bit over $8,000 left to get that GTA 3 run in, so please...
Come on, you can do it.
Keep it coming. We've got some big help coming in, though. An Eternal Enigma, member of the host fam, has sent in $1,000. Let's make this really simple. I love Grand Theft Auto 3. You love Grand Theft Auto 3. I love KZ-Fru. You love KZ-Fru. Do you want to enjoy Grand Theft Auto 3 and KZ-Fru at the same time? You know what to do, people. Let's get it done. I've also got $50 here from Blue. Love Horizon Zero Dawn, and Elk's self-commentary is making me appreciate the game from a whole new angle. Let's get that bonus game. And we just moved. We're now under $8,000 left. We can push this train. Get the tickets while you can. It is still moving. Last one here, $50 from Cleric. How do RoboDinos store their data? In a RAR file. I'm sorry. Apology rejected. That was awesome.
Yeah, that's 10 out of 10 pun. Who doesn't like a good pun? So coming up here, we just have to talk to Avad, which starts the quest.
I'll meet.
And then I'm gonna bring out another bow, which is set up to do more fire damage here, because we're gonna use that for a particular machine coming up. But first, we're gonna go towards the very infamous Blaze Skip. And yes, Blaze Skip, as in, 420. Because explosives in this game are called Blaze. And this skip is usually one that you always want to get in a run, but it's pretty hard because it's basically a dialogue skip with 2 triangle inputs. So the game has those triangle inputs active for about a frame or 2, where you can press them in between the first dialogue and the second dialogue. And yeah. So it's basically 2 frame-perfect inputs back-to-back. So let's see what happens. You can see the input there, and it's gonna blink for like 1 or 2 frames.
All right. I'll shut up.
And I didn't get it. You can just spam triangle there, which, some people do. But even if you get the first one, you then have to turn around and hit the barrels here from the behind.
That bomb downstairs goes
And
off.
hit another frame-perfect one. And the problem with the first one, there's basically an audio cue and kind of a visual cue for when it's gonna
The
happen.
city goes up in flames. There's gotta be a way
And
to
we
stop
would have
it.
skipped this dialogue between
Looks like
Aloy
I'm
and
in
Aaron,
ground.
which is playing right now,
Not very strong.
if we had gotten it. Which is about 15 to 18 seconds, depending on if you get the first part. If you get the first part, you save 3 seconds. If you get both, you save a total of 18 seconds. So it's a big skip for like frame-perfect inputs at the end. But yeah, basically the problem is the second input is completely blind. You don't have a visual cue, and you don't have
This must be where Dervahl
you know, an audio cue. You basically just have to guess, plus you have to turn around and walk in the very specific angle to hit it. So it's nice when you get in on runs, but it's certainly not a guarantee. But you know, if you have a bad run coming into the end game, you know, getting those at 18 seconds is a huge plus. Like if I had gotten in my last world record, it would have been a 144 loadless time. Anyway, now we're coming up on the next fight here, which is the Dervahl fight, where we're gonna face the scariest machine of all in all of Horizon. The one that leaves speedrunners sweating throughout, you know, long into the night, just wondering why they are the way they are. And I'm of course talking about Glinthawks, because my goodness, Glinthawks are annoying. They are the most annoying machine, they're the worst machine in the game. I can't stand them because they are inconsistent. But I'm gonna try my best here. First I have to take out Dervahl and his two goons here, and then the Glinthawk spawn. So first here, I'm gonna do a manipulation here. I'm gonna set this one on fire while walking backwards and then hit the second one. I'm walking backwards as far as I can to give these Glinthawks as much space to land on as possible. Because, you know, you need to hit them with bombs here, as you can see, in order to take them out. So you want to give them enough space so they can land. Then I'm going to use the ice cannon and try to hit them here as they come flying in. That's two. The third one is landing, so he's going to give me a clean shot. Last one is right here. This is pretty good. Nice, got them. That was actually really good shooting on those four. I didn't miss a single shot. Awesome. That definitely deserves some hype. So Glinthawks, they have weak spots, but all of it in this fight is just covered with armor plating, and if you hit the armor, you only do 50 damage, and you need to do 450 to kill one. And Glinthawks flap around and fly around, and hitting them is just not easy, and even sometimes when you kill them, they take forever to die, because they have a death animation that where they need to fall down and, you know, land before they die, and sometimes it takes forever if you kill them in a certain spot. Glinthawks are annoying is what I'm trying to say. You know, I probably need therapy for dealing with Glinthawks for the last 3.5 years speedrunning this game. Because they... I know I'm complaining a lot, but just understand Glinthawks are annoying. I hope I'm getting that across. Hopefully flying machines will be kinder in Forbidden West. Because, they have already announced a new machine for that game called the Sunring, and I am already panicking over that. Because flying machines just... they are just inconsistent. That's all I can say. Anyway, we got the last quest unlocked now, which has 3 parts to it. The Healers fight, Ridge defense, and then the final battle against Hades himself, or a Deathbringer of Hades. So first we have to go to sleep here, and then there's a long unskippable cutscene.
Empty.
But that gives me some time to explain what's gonna happen here at the end.
Did I leave anything unfinished?
So, just gonna go through those first, like, 4 cutscenes you can skip instantly. And then we have an unskippable cutscene here, because the game is, you know, trying to hide a loading screen. You know, PS4 problems that hopefully isn't on PS5. So, let me just quickly grab some water so I can talk for the, you know, last, I don't know, 12 minutes of the run. So coming up here is the Healers fight, which is fairly simple. You just have to walk up to him and shoot him twice with the ice cannon in the head. Problem is, Healers likes to move his head up and down, side to side. He's basically just dancing all over the place. So hitting him is hard. At the same time, he has a ton of goons next to him, which do a lot of damage, because they have, like, various weapons and they can hit you instantly. So not only do you have to hit him twice, you also have to make sure you don't take enough damage, because you can just get melted so quickly. But if you hit the 2 shots without missing, that shouldn't be a problem. And then after that, we are immediately into Ridge defense, which is by far the longest fight of the run. But also, personally, my favorite, because it's so intense to have a fight like that at the end of the run. Which is basically like a massive wave of machines just coming at you while you try to defend the Ridge. And also right here, we got the upskirt shot coming. And don't worry, it's not what you think. Because a lot of people, when I say the upskirt shot, and that's kind of the joke, think, oh, it's Aloy. No, you will see. It's a bit of a joke, so don't worry about it. Because then Helis is gonna appear. The guy we met back at the Sun Ring, but he's been here a lot in the run, but we skipped cutscenes. There it is, the glorious upskirt shot. Nice. Always nice to see that before the end here. Anyway, now we gotta kill him.
No.
Because now the cutscene is over. And I'll talk more about Ridge defense when we get to it. But just know, this fight is gonna happen really quickly if it goes well.
Not this time.
Because like I said, I only have to shoot him twice. While the game is fading in for black here, I'm gonna try and hold the movement in the correct direction, so I head up the stairs before it's faded in. And here he is. Got the first shot. The second shot is easy, because he's kind of stunned for a bit. There we go, we got him. So yeah, pretty quick fight if you nail it, but it's easy to mess up. Alright, so now Ridge defense. This is where you're supposed to use an Oseram cannon, which is a very powerful weapon. But don't be silly, this is New Game Plus, so our weapons are better. So there's gonna be these Deathbringers spawning in, which we are then gonna shoot. They have about 4,000 health, so 4 shots here with the ice rail is enough to kill one. Because again, our weapons are really powerful. And then we're gonna snipe this, what's it called, Scrabber from the side there. That's a Ravager all the way in the back, and I hope you're paying attention to just how powerful and how much range you have with this gun. Because Ridge defense is really gonna show you just how powerful you can get this weapon to be. If you have it set up correctly. The thing is with this weapon is it's pretty bad actually if you don't have good modifications on it. But once you have good modifications, my goodness, does it melt things. Now we are gonna use the Oseram cannon a bit here for these smaller enemies. I'm gonna try to make this bellow bag explode so he sets all the machines next to him on fire. There's actually 2 of them, but the other one is usually pretty far in the back, so he doesn't do much. But he's moving up close, so looks like we got most of them. We've got one straggler right there. Done with that. Then they spawn in here on the right. There's a Scrabber coming down right there. Oh, I'm hit an armor plate, so you saw I only did 50 damage. Basically, hitting an armor plate is like missing a shot, because it's like missing a shot, because you do so little damage, you might as well have missed the shot. And right here, I'm taking out the bellow bags by first destroying the bellies, or the neck, which sets them, or completely freezes them. And then one more shot to finish them off. I take out the belly of the long leg there, and then body shots him to finish him off. And that was pretty much a perfect start for the first half here of Ridge defense. But there's the second half, which is more of the tricky part. So you notice there I have 2 striker bows out, which both have fire arrows on them. I'm loading both of them up with triple shots, so I can use them for when the Stormbird spawns in at the end here. Also, I'm gonna aim right here, because that's where the next Deathbringer will spawn. Sometimes he spawns a bit to the right, but he should spawn right there perfectly. But this fight is also about knowing exactly where all the enemies are gonna come from. And as long as you don't miss a spot, or as long as you don't miss a shot, you know, enemies just line up perfectly. But this is also a fight because it's so long and has so many machines to it. If you miss just a little bit, the fight usually just becomes, you know, goes into like domino mode, and you mess up one thing and then the next thing becomes harder, so you mess that up and then the next thing is even harder. You get the point. So as long as you do it perfectly, which I'm doing so far, enemies just line up perfectly for you. But you can... just missing once will just make you fall behind. Got the Glinthawks coming in here. Problem with this Oseram cannon is, first off, it takes a long time to charge. And second off, the shots you fire with it spreads kind of randomly, so that's why we prefer not to use it as much. But for these Glinthawks, it's fairly nice. Gonna hit him one more time, he's dead. Then get over here, aim between these 2 trees, because that's where the last Deathbringer spawns. Like right there. And you can see a bunch of other enemies also spawned in here, so this one is the most crucial one. You gotta kill this Deathbringer as fast as possible. Ah, I missed a shot. Okay, this is... okay. So now I'm a bit more stressed here. Because then I'm gonna go into this corner to block myself from the enemies on the left. Trying to hit this fella in the back to do some damage on these guys. Kill out the long leg, because he's the most annoying if he gets close. The Corruptor finally spotted me, because he got a line on me. As you saw, I hide in that corner, so he didn't get a sight on me. And this guy had no idea where I am. And there we go, we finished him off. Now only the Stormbird is left. He's gonna spawn in the back here, so I'm gonna start lobbing some bombs over here, or some shots over here to damage him a bit before he gets closer. Line up a shot there, and then here comes the fire arrows. One with my fire bow, and another triple shot with fire arrows. Again to... Oh, he just hit me at the perfect time. To get him completely fired. Sadly, he hit me there as soon as I, stunned him. So I'm not going to do too much damage while he's underground. I wanted him to be on fire because that way, he's underground for a while. And as I said, flying machines are annoying. So I want him underground. Because you can see how he flops around and it's really hard to hit him. All that jazz. And there we go, he's dead. There we go, and that finishes our Ridge event. I'll switch out the firebow again back to my ice rail. And now there's only one more thing to do. We got this last this cutscene again, unskippable. And the last fight is the Deathbringer fight at the very end. So, yeah, and time comes up after that fight. Don't worry, there's still 3 minutes too, but just want to point out it's right after the fight. I'll remind you when we get close. So yeah, I just want to, while we get through this cutscene, and there's a path we have to walk to get to the end here, I just want to take a time to, thank everybody that's part of the Horizon speedrun community. You guys make this game really awesome to run. I still remember back in 2019, or most of 2019, where I was basically the only person running the game. And then, like I said, in 2020 and 2021, there's been so many new people joining, and the game just came alive again. And it's been a pleasure to run the game alongside you guys, and really push this game to be as fast as possible. So I just want to thank everybody in the community. You all know who you are. Thank you so much. And also, just want to thank my own community, because you guys are truly amazing. I can't believe the amount of support I'm getting for what I do from my own community, the Elk Tribe. So thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to doing more speedrun for you, whether it be Horizon here or new games like Ghost of Tsushima, or Forbidden West when we finally get to play it. So yeah, I hope you're looking forward to it, because it's coming up. And it's certainly going to be a great journey too. So thank you so much. And yeah, right here we just have to go through the broken village of Meridian here, which is on fire because of the attack. Gonna try to dodge that at the correct time so I don't get stunned by that long leg. And then we're heading towards the final fight, which is basically just going to be a Deathbringer fight. Normally, the fight is works in such a way that machines spawn in after you've done a certain amount of damage or a certain amount of time has passed. But this is New Game Plus, and need I remind you, we kill things fast, so we're gonna kill them before any other machines spawn in. So yeah, that's gonna happen. Gonna skip that cutscene here. And just a reminder here, just at the end again, if you want to be part of this community, you can find us on speedrun.com/HZD. Where you can find a link to the leaderboard and the community Discord if you want to be a part of it. And yeah, that's about it. Of course, if you want to see more of these runs or see me try and get a 144 loadless PB in this category, which is my current goal for this, check out my own stream. I would be very much appreciated. Or my YouTube if you're more into that.
So no holding back.
Alright, so I'm getting my ice rail ready here because we're going to use that. Gonna meet up with these guys here. And then restart from save, because that puts us up top where the fight starts. And then this fight here also has a lot of manipulation to it. So I'm gonna try my best to explain exactly what I do here. So skip the cutscene, jump into the fight, make sure I have my health potions ready, because I'm intentionally just gonna tank damage. So I'm gonna walk sideways. It's not working well. Get a little too close to him, I think. So I'm gonna walk sideways here while freezing him, and keep walking sideways, because normally when he doesn't do missile attacks first, if you keep walking sideways, he won't shoot missiles, because you keep turning away from his, the angle where he shoots missiles from. So keep going sideways both sides, and don't get too close. You don't want him to stomp. And there we go, he's dead. And as you can see, I finish off being as close to Hades as possible because I move back and forth. Oh, by the way, that's time. Sorry. That's time right there when you stab Hades. I was so focused on fight, I forgot. But nonetheless, great run. Or there was a few mistakes, but it's a marathon run. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And hopefully you understand that last fight there. But essentially, keep moving sideways and move backwards towards the middle again after you hit him or done half his health. So you finish right next to Hades. And yeah, that's the run. That's where the game ends. Or the journey ends for now until the sequel comes out, which I'm most looking forward to. So before I let go here, and I hope the next run is Casey Fru's GTA 3 run. Please, guys, come on. It's GTA 3, we all want to see it. But before I leave off here, I just want to thank, at the very end, Guerrilla Games, the developers of this game, because they are amazing. And they have shown great support for speedrunning, in terms of, you know, shouting us out, and not just speedrunning community, but all the other communities for this game, like cosplay, artwork, fan art, so on. They do a great job of really, you know, showcasing what the community do, and it means a lot more to us than I think Guerrilla realizes. And yeah, and just thank you to all the developers that have personally contacted me and tell me they like my speedruns and stuff. I appreciate it. And yeah, I'm looking forward to playing your next game. So thank you for making this beautiful game. And yeah, that's about it where I want to end. So thank you all for having me. Enjoy the rest of GDQ, because I know I will. And yeah, take care, everyone.
Thank you, Elk, for the awesome run. And guess what, my friend? Your wish is our audience's command. Y'all did it! Grand Theft Auto 3, $90,000. It's in the marathon. It's happening. It is coming up next. The hype train is departing the station, fully fueled and ready to roll. We could not have done this without all of your support. Thank you all so much for making this happen. I have so many donations to try and catch up on. We had a $50 donation from YB. Let's commit some Grand Theft Auto. In game, that is. We also had a $300 donation from Cal. $300 for GTA 3. Let's go! I also had a $50 donation from Henry. What it's all about. As requested, here is some cash money, dollar bills. Let's make it happen. And you did. You made it happen. The marathon just got that much longer, and I cannot wait. All right, that is a lot of excitement. I'm going to have to ask everybody to take their seats. The hype train is leaving the station. We're going to take a quick break while refreshments are passed out. Please stand by. We will be right back with you after this. And welcome back, everyone. This is Summer Games Done Quick 2021 online. Y'all, I still need a minute. Y'all are blowing me away. All right, that is going to do it for me today. It has been so awesome hanging out with you here from the host station. Y'all keep up the awesomeness. I will be back with you again for some really awesome runs on Friday, including one of those awesome things we can only get at these online marathons. Take a look at the schedule. I'm looking forward to it. I know you will be too. Up next, I'm going to go over to Kung Fu Fruit Cup. We've got an interview with our Resident Evil 7 runners. Kung Fu, take it away.
Hello, everyone. Great work today, Game and Shout. You are awesome and always do a wonderful job hosting. Hi, I'm Kung Fu Fruit Cup. Welcome back to Summer Games Done Quick Online 2021. Hope you all are enjoying the week. I am here with the awesome KatLink and CaptainEzekielin, who are getting ready to do their upcoming Resident Evil 7 New Game Easy run. What's going on, you guys? How's it going?
Doing pretty good. This is both actually our first GDQ.
Yeah,
first
doing great.
GDQ.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I just know that you've been around, Kat, for a while. Like we've done some work with Frame Fatale, and I know you've done a run on there. But this is so exciting. I know you two are both going to do amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask about with RE7, since you're running any % New Game Easy, can you tell me a little bit about like the differences and the pacing that comes with the New Game part and the Easy part? Maybe split it, or, you know, we could. Zeke, do you want to start?
Yeah, I'll cover like the New Game part. Basically, New Game differs from what we would normally run, which is New Game Plus, which is the most popular category of RE7. Whereas we just beat the game using what it gives us. No extra items, and those extra items are usually a really strong saw and a really overpowered pistol and infinite ammo. We don't use any of that. We just use what the game gives us, which just happens to be a very broken shotgun.
Okay, great.
And so, go for it.
I was gonna say, and with the difficulty differences, like what does that like add for the run for you?
Well, obviously there's only Easy and Madhouse. There is actually no normal difficulty category for RE7. However, the differences can be night and day when it comes to Easy and Madhouse. But Easy is the most popular category, or the categories to run, just because it's a lot less frustrating, and obviously it's just a lot more welcoming to new runners. And the skill gap can be just insane sometimes, but it's
right.
A lot more fun in my opinion.
Yeah. Do you know, let's say like if you compared New Game Easy to New Game Madhouse, like do you know what the time difference is for that?
I don't know offhand. I think it's like 10 minutes or so.
Gotcha. Which can be pretty significant.
15 minutes, yeah.
Yeah.
Something around there.
Yeah, for sure. Now I know that along with this category, like there's also quite a bit of time where you can you'll be out of bounds a little bit.
A little bit.
Tell us a little bit about like that tech and how it works.
So the AI is like what we mostly rely on to do the out of bounds. So Jack's AI it can be a little finicky, but thanks to optimization, it's actually very simple to do it. It's just hoping Jack behaves. Because sometimes he decides to do other things. But yeah, there's only one out of bounds that we actually use in the entire run, just because the game is so dependent on flags and it's very scripted. So yeah, only one out of bounds actually works.
Oh, okay. For the run. Yeah, I think it's so common in my mind. Like I'm so focused on when that happens that I think like, oh, you're kind of walking sort of through the house around it, kind of underneath. Like it's
going places.
Yeah, so you all have to watch that and see. Now, I know that you also do, there's different like language and version differences that both of you do. But I think you both use like a more Japanese-based version of the game and then language differences. So what does that make a difference on for each of you?
Yeah, so there's the censored version of the game, which we refer to as Sarah D, which is the Japanese localized version of the game, which removes different parts of dismemberment, which includes Ethan's arm getting cut off and his leg getting cut off if that ever happens, and picking up a key down a body later in the game down its throat. That all gets censored out, and it saves us about 23 and a half seconds throughout the entire route. Whereas the language differences, are more minute. Japanese overall saves the most time of about half a second. Very minuscule throughout the whole run, but it's something that I've grown accustomed to, and have been using for about 3 years now. And I know Kat uses English.
English, yeah.
Like
yeah, so it's easy to pay attention to. Oh man, half a second. You know, sometimes that does make all the difference. So you never know when that's really going to come into play or be something that you like want to switch over to. Either way, this should be an amazing race and should be pretty close, I would say. Now I wanted to jump over to a little social media because we have some great questions coming in. Like, for example, this is from him nobody asks, what was the most difficult thing to learn for the speedrun? Kat, let's start with you.
I think the most difficult thing to learn was overall menuing and remembering where everything should go in your menu. And a lot of the strats as well, because some of the strats can be not very friendly. So it takes a lot of hours just to get it down. But those are probably the two for me.
Makes sense. Yeah. What about you, Zeke?
It definitely have to be the enemy AI, since there's a very large learning curve in knowing how to behave in response to like Jack's AI behavior, which is incredibly erratic. It's not RNG, but incredibly crazy. And just learning how to really deal with that to our advantage.
You can say that again.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, when you said menuing, there's like you have to like change some options for like the FPS settings or something, don't you?
Yeah, so we actually turn everything low or off. So the game's gonna look a little mushy, but it's all for the purpose of having super high FPS, just because we do run the game at variable. So we try to aim for over 180 FPS, and the higher, the better. It's pretty much pay to win almost sometimes, but very, very minor things that actually like break in terms of, FPS and stuff.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. So let's get in one more question before I let you both go. So we have, this is from @TwitterGaming. And they ask, how many runs did it take to stop getting scared? Maybe asking for a friend?
I am so desensitized to horror games.
Okay.
So it took me like one run. How about you, Zeke?
What about you, Zeke?
Never. We were practicing yesterday, and I still get jump scared by the enemy behavior. It can be very weird. Like if you turn your back to Jack, he gets in crazy crouching, sprinting animations and will just chase you down. And when you turn around and look at him, I scream a lot still to this day. I still get spooked.
Yeah, I love it. I love the contrast between the two of you. I think that's great. So this is going to be a fantastic race. Thank you both for speaking with me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Make sure you all look forward to this upcoming Resident Evil 7 run. It is coming up in a bit after we have the Grand Theft Auto 3 run coming up next, which is going to be awesome. And then Metal Gear. And then you'll have to, sit with us for a little bit for a daily recap. And then we get to see Resident Evil 7. So look forward to the night's runs this evening. They're all going to be great. Thank you so much for hanging out. And we are going to hand it back up to our new host, which is Matashek. So take it away.
Thank you very much, Kung Fu Fruit Cup. Another great interview. And welcome back to our supporters, new and returning. It is time now for KZ Fru's Grand Theft Auto 3 Any% run. Take it away, KZ.